What's going on, everyone? My name is Jordan. If we haven't met yet, I am certified health and life coach, and it is my personal mission and passion to help people find the way of eating that works for them and empower them to own it like a badass. So today, there's a lot to something like this, to empowering people. I have my methodology, I have my 8-step program that I take people through in my coaching. But I think a lot of the empowerment process is educating people and just giving you access to all the information, and not just information that fits through my lens of what works for me. Because what I've found is there's as many people as there are in the world. There are literally that many different ways of eating that work for people. So I want to, I'm really putting all my hooks out there, trying to find more and more and more people that we can talk to. I'm working towards having these interviews every Tuesday and Thursday, just setting up the schedule, educating people, throwing out the information out there. So today we've got Tiff Zapico. She's going to pop on very shortly, and then I'll pull her on and I'm going to interview her for about 45 minutes. Tiff Zapico is a women's coach. She works with women's empowerment, body confidence, body relationship, healing our food relationship from the inside out. She's got a lot of skill, experience, and knowledge in hypnosis. Every time, I've never met her. We're friends on social media because we're in a very high level, expensive, high level coaching development program. So I know everyone in that program is passionate about what they do. But every time I see her, her social media pop up, she's at another call, another conference, always leveling herself up, always learning more to bring more to her clients. Yesterday, I was trying to reach her to do a teaser post, and she was on back-to-back calls until 9 p.m. So this is someone who's really in the trenches as a coach, really helping people, learning every day. And people who are helping others evolve, you can only take your clients as far as you're willing to go, right? So the hardest part about being a coach is knowing you want to level people up, and then when you lay in bed at night, seeing that you've got a lot of leveling up to do in order to hold this light. And I really believe that she's a woman that does this, that continuously levels herself up and works towards the next skill set. And if you're on Tiff, pop a like, because I see 2 people watching. I believe one is Chuck. But once I see Tiff pop on, if you're on your phone, Tiff, you can request to join. There'll be a button at the bottom. Yeah, so Chuck's here. There's a second person. I don't know if that's Tiff, but Tiff should be either here or here in a second. That third person might be her. And then as soon as I see you pop on, bring them on camera, then I will do that and we'll get cracking. Who's watching? If you're watching, can you pop a like just so I know if one of these 4 people is Tiff? It's weird. Sometimes it pops up right now and says Chuck is watching, but there's 3 other people and I don't know who they are. I've got the option to bring Chuck on right now. I can just tap bring them on camera. I see another like from someone who's not Tiff. Where are you at, Tiff? Are you here? No, I see. Thank you for that like, brother. I can't remember your name, but I think we met yesterday. I see your profile picture, though, the black. Invite. There is a delay on the comments, Tiff, so if you've commented something, they take a minute or 2 to come through. Just pop a like. Heather's here. Chuck's here. Tiff's here. Sweet, there you are. Yeah. So, yeah, there we go.
Hi, Jordan.
There you are. There
Facebook
you
is
are.
always a
What's going
challenge.
on? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm so good. I was so excited to talk to you. I was listening to your, Tiff was nice enough to send me a hypnosis recording. And, about 30 days ago, and I wanted to listen to it every day, and I didn't, because that's, I just got so many fish in the fryer, and that's an excuse. But I listened to it the day she sent it to me, and then today I was like, I should listen to it before this interview. And I had forgot so many things that were in it. the hypnosis is really interesting to me because I'm like so resistant to relinquishing control that I've always been like, if I let someone hypnotize me, and I see hypnotize as like being on stage and doing like dancing, right?
Right.
I was like, if I ever was able to let someone lock me into a state, that would be such a, like, I'd be like, wow, I relinquished control, you know?
Mhm.
So I want to ask you about that and I want to learn more about it. But as far as just like an affirmation, confirmation, it's like a really powerful guided meditation is how I was experiencing it.
Mhm.
Just so tell me more about that and what's like, you know, a lot of people might see hypnosis as just on stage doing this. What is it to you? What experience have you had? We'll get to like lots of your coaching tools and approach, but I'm just like so curious about that.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy to talk about it. Hypnotherapy, what it actually is and what it isn't, is one of my favorite things to discuss with people because the reality is, like so many wonderful things in the world, there are just misperceptions out there because of like the movies and entertainment and things that want to dramatize it. And it's actually a huge disservice to the incredible powerfulness of what hypnotherapy actually is. So let me start there. Essentially,
Mm-hmm.
hypnotherapy is not mind control. Like, it is not mind control. You are never stuck in a trance. It is not a truth serum. You are actually in complete control the entire time. We like to describe it as a conversation with your eyes closed. And really, what a great hypnotherapist is trained to do is to help you get into the theta state. So that is that sweet spot. It's the theta brainwave state. It's the spot right before you're about to go into sleep, which is the delta state. And in the theta brainwave state, that's when we're able to tap into our subconscious. That's when we're relaxed. It's that feeling right before you fall asleep or right before you wake up, or even that relaxed feeling when you're watching TV. That's actually why they call TV, they used to call it programming. And that's why they say when we watch commercials, we're being brainwashed because we're in that relaxed state. And then all of those things that we see in the movies and the commercials, we're absorbing them into our subconscious. So then the next day, you know, we watch a commercial on Coca-Cola. Hopefully no one's doing this anymore. And then the next day you want a Coca-Cola and you go to the store and you buy a Coca-Cola because you've been conditioned in your subconscious through that programming, because that's when your brain is in the theta brainwave state. So we want to learn about that, and then we want to maximize that time. We want to say, I know how to get myself into the theta brainwave state. And instead of watching commercials or, you know, TV, violent TV or movies or whatever, I'm going to use that optimal time in my brain to manifest my desires, to get my subconscious aligned to what I actually want to have in my life. And in this case, if it's eating a healthy diet and honoring and respecting your body, it's getting the subconscious aligned to that vision. So number one, it's always showing the subconscious what you want, and then you know, exploring any blockages or resistance that might be there.
That is wonderful. That's so cool. That, like, I really was realizing that there was a big gap in, yeah, in the movie version and then
Right.
the real world. So that's
And like
really
a lot of
interesting.
people
So
talk
that,
about stage hypnosis, right? Like when you go on, you go to like a fair and like they put all the people on the stage and people are doing all the weird things and everything like that. That is exactly what it is. It's entertainment. And typically the people that go up for that are people that want to be the spotlight. They want to like put on a show. So they raise their hand and they say, pick me, pick me. And then they go up there and they act dramatically. And it's, you know, it's all just entertainment. That's really all it is.
oh,
Mm.
so you haven't experienced that I'm dancing on stage out of control in another world state, hey?
I would not call that hypnotherapy. I would call that dramatic movie dramatized hypnosis to
Really?
get money from people. Yeah, totally. A lot of those people
Wow.
are actors or actresses, and it's just, you know, entertainment, as we like to say. Because in
Oh,
hypnotherapy, this is the thing. I always tell my clients this: you are in control the entire time. You at any moment can just get out of the hypnotherapy. You're never stuck in a trance. You're in complete control. Like, especially when the work that I do with my clients, I'll always say, give you a choice. Would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? Because that's how we empower people, right? You have all the answers you need within you, right? There is not, you know,
yeah.
while I totally believe in the power of intuition and the support of the divine, this whole process is you have the divine within you. You have all the answers you need within you. You are the manifester of your destiny. So in this whole process, it really is
Yeah.
an empowering process where you're going to be doing the work, you're going to be guiding the way, and a good hypnotherapist is there to support your journey.
So I absolutely love that, especially something you said there about empowering them, because yeah, I'm trying, like I see a real gap in the messaging online. Everybody's saying use your intuition, and there's a lot of people very, very disconnected, and intuition is a far away thing. And I've, in talking to so many people and looking at my own experience, it's a bridge to nowhere, because there isn't something like really tactile that drives the practice forward. It's a lot of people holding up cupcakes and say, eat the cake, eat intuitively. And I'm really trying to find, really tactile things that people can go through to find out, like a two-step process where you find out what is right for you in a world where a million people, I think there's as many ways to eat as there are people in the world. And everybody's got an opinion. And then even when you find something, people tell you that there's something wrong with it. Oh, like I posted, the definition of empowered eating. You shouldn't fast. You shouldn't skip a meal. You got to eat if you restrict. And it's like, holy shit, I find what's right, and then I find what's wrong with it. So it's like really empowering people to find out what's best for them. So I'm hearing in your hypnosis, like in your actual thing that you sent me and in your explanation here, a really cool tool to bridge that gap, not a bridge to nowhere, a bridge to something that you can actually use. So in your experience for yourself or clients, like what have you seen where doing this, like when I was listening to this before this, I was like, this is like being in the gym for my state of mind and my subconscious.
Totally.
You can feel like a sit up, like, oh, I did a sit up, nothing happened. But like you got to get in the gym and you got to change things from the inside out. And it is not high impact every step. It's taking steps, and then the real change sneaks up on you. So what have you seen, experienced in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so happy that you listened to the recording and have been listening to it. So I want to celebrate you for doing that, because that is seriously the first step, right?
It
You got
is.
to do it. You got to be consistent with your practices. Like I meditate every single day for at least an hour. And that has dramatically changed my life. Dramatically changed my life.
I
Because
believe you.
yeah, we have to be clear on what our vision is. And then we have to connect with our mind, with our body, and remind ourselves of what we want, of who our future is, of where we're going in our life. And it's just starting the day in that way. It's, for me, I talk about it as like aligning your subconscious, your conscious mind, and like your entire body on what you actually desire, on the person you want to be, and focusing on that present moment, focusing on the future that you're building. Forget the past. The past does not matter, right? Like we so always get trapped in that loop of thoughts of, oh, I should have done this, or I did this yesterday, and oh, regrets that we have from the past. I train all my, just let all that go, let it go. It no longer serves us. It just focus on what you're creating, what you want to call in, what you're manifesting, what your dreams are. And every day is a new day to start. And it's all about consistency. That's the most important thing. So for my journey, I lost 85 pounds in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was 23, I was 235 pounds. So I have worked really hard. I totally understand what it is to have food cravings, to use food to comfort, to not understand how to eat healthily, and to just not be in mind and body harmony. Like I get it. Like I went through so many highs and lows in my journey. I tried every single diet there was, I did keto, I did paleo, I was a vegetarian, I was vegan, I used to do CrossFit, I did it all. Like I tried everything. There were so many times where I would work out, and then I would and eat healthy, and I still wouldn't see results. So I totally get this journey. It is a roller coaster. I just want to say that I have so much empathy and compassion for everybody on this journey, because it is a journey and it's a lifelong process. But what I would say about the process in general is, number one is just consistency. And what I've seen is a lot of times we just have like blockages. We have blockages that are inside in our subconscious. And these things could be like, a lot of people struggle with sugar addiction, right? Because what happens when we're kids, we're grown up, and our parents are like, you're good, here's a cookie, right? Or it's our birthday and we get a big birthday cake. And, we're conditioned as children to think of sugar as a reward. So of course, as adults, when we want to reward ourselves, we're going to go for a cookie, or, we have these cravings for things. And it takes a while to break through those blockages, to get the body aligned to say, actually, sugar isn't what I want. What I want is something healthy. And you have to determine what that is. So in terms of intuitive eating, I will say everyone's body is different. Everyone's body, reacts differently to different things, craves different things, thrives off of different things. So I would say it is a process to discover what works best for you, and then honor that, right? Like, people are like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. Do what you know is best for your body. And sometimes you have to figure that out through trial and error. But there are processes that you can use to understand, to go within, to tap into that intuition. But I would say one thing about the intuition too is, in order to be like into actually really connected to the intuition, you have to be in a grounded place, right? Like, you can't connect to your intuition when you're in like total stress mode, or when you're like totally overwhelmed, or when you're like sitting in feelings of fear and anxiety and stress. It's impossible to connect to your intuition when you're swirling around in fear, anxiety, and stress. So it is a process. You have to heal the self. It's a process of letting go of the fear, letting go of the anxiety, understanding it, right? Welcoming it, integrating it into yourself. And when you go on the journey, then you're able to connect to your intuition, because you've healed those parts of you. So it's a process. Sorry, I'm saying a lot of different things all over the place. Feel free to stop me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I do. And that's why you're like, do you have a plan? And I was like, it's going to fly by. Like, cause we love talking about this stuff. So I'm happy to hear everything you have, and when I talk, I go down rabbit holes, and that's where I find, gold. So it's all good. I really like, so if I love that you're saying, something that's really hard is like, the messaging online is, if you do whatever, you're going to find a happy balance, right? And I mean, I wrote down a quote to make a quote card this morning, that it's like, that's setting people up for failure. Anything in life worth doing will take effort, right? So when everybody's saying, if you just have the cake as much as you want, you're going to end up you're just going to end up wanting carrots, right? It's like, no, you really, I find it very alienating and idealistic. And again, bridge to nowhere. You're selling BS, and once I started talking to people, they were like, I feel very alienated by it. So I love that you're saying it takes time. You got to and you're not just saying, oh, here's how you access it. You're saying, like, if you got to do work to settle what's around it before you start melting that block of ice. You got to work on the temperature in the room. You got to work on the stuff, your life. So what I'm curious about is, say you have someone, because I'm going to have contact in the comments for you after. I'll tag or we'll say at the end of the video, ways for people to reach you, ways for people to get in touch with you, because you do this every day, and I know you're having a huge impact on people's lives. So say someone does reach out to you, what's the first thing that you do with them? What's your approach? It's like, call one. They're like, because you know what, I really have to remind myself, as I heal and I move forward, it's very easy in my messaging to talk to myself where I'm at right now. And I've got to remember, 1 year ago, I was drowning in red velvet frosting, or cream cheese, really, 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 really bad, and really scared, really dark, really depressed, overweight. And then I bridged a lot of the gaps, and I figured a lot of stuff out. So what would be the first thing you do, and what would you say to that person? How would you start?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I always do in every session is just explain the process, right? Because we're human beings. So we want to actually know what we're doing before we do it. Like, so many times you'll go to something, like I've gone to healers before, and they just put me on a table and knock me out. And then I wake up 2 hours later, and they're like, okay, bye. And I'm like, what just happened? What did you do? What happened? So I fully believe in we spend the first session actually talking about the subconscious mind, how it works. We talk about how to build new neural pathways in the brain. We talk about the science behind it, the science of neuroplasticity, the science of, the different energy centers in the body, and how important it is to, remain de-stressed. So the first session, in all my sessions, I always inform clients about the process, what they're doing, because I want to know the research. I want to know the data. If you tell me research and data and you tell me something works, I'm going to be more bought in, right? And if I see the numbers, so I always respect teachers that start off by just like explaining to me the science, the research behind the processes that we're doing, what's happening in my body, because then I feel like I'm going to be more invested in the process. So I always start by just making sure people understand what they're doing, understand what's happening in your body, understand all of the research and amazing stories, evidence out there to support that this stuff works, because there is sometimes these beliefs that hypnotherapy or meditation or things like this, that it's all like woo woo or spiritual or whatever, and like it doesn't work. And the reality is that it's very scientific and it's very evidence based and it works. But you have to, you have to be exposed to those facts to actually be invested. So my first session, I always want to make sure people are informed and educated on the process. And then I always teach the steps to self-hypnosis the first session, because again, it's all about empowering the client. So I love teaching that tool because you don't need an app, you don't need a hypnotherapist, you don't need anything. You literally just need your brain and yourself to sit down and do the steps to self-hypnosis. So I teach that in the first session because I ask my clients in between sessions to do that every single day for 2 to 3 times a day. It could take 5 minutes. And that's just building upon the work that we do. And you can just do that and you'll see a difference. So I teach that. And then I start by just talking to my clients about it's a two-part process. One is, so many people are just not really clear about their desires. So I find it's incredibly important to talk about, what are your desires? What do you want in your life, right? Like, what do you want your life to be like a year from now, a month from now, 10 years from now? So I make sure that the client has the opportunity to get clarity on what they really truly desire in their life. And so many of us ignore our desires or minimize our dreams. But no, if my world, we live in the world of infinite possibilities. So I start by, what are your desires? Own your desires. You are worthy and deserving of everything you love. And let's start right here by owning them and saying what they are. First step. And then the second step is, what do you want to overcome? What are the limiting beliefs that you know that are coming up for you? We all have them. All of us, everybody. There is no one in this world that doesn't have a limiting belief. A different one can come up every single day. Every time you evolve, there's a new set of problems, right? So like you said, a year ago, you were a different person. You got to celebrate that. As much of the work I've done in my life, I've done so much work. Now I'm at a completely different stage in my life, and a whole new set of things are coming, and a whole new set of limiting beliefs are coming. So the work never ends, right? We are always transforming. We are never transformed. So we talk about, what are your limiting beliefs? And then we highlight. We usually would like focus on the top 3 over a period of time. And then we would dig into those. We would dig into them in our sessions, checking in with the mind body, seeing what that resistance is coming up, and then exploring, figuring out where it stems from. And then ultimately we transform that into your superpowers. Because what I've seen in this work is, for example, if a lot of women have a fear, a lot of women keep this extra weight on that they have, and some men too, because of, like, they've been conditioned that if they look a certain way, they're going to attract a certain thing. Like, we get these things growing up. Your parents tell you, don't be too sexy, don't wear that. Like, or maybe a husband or something would be like trying to like keep you fat or whatever. And then you're separate from that, and you don't understand why you are stuck in your body or stuck in this version of yourself and feel trapped to like evolve. And a lot of times there's this fear that's there, that's been conditioned through society, through parents, through religion, through relationships, that that just wants to essentially come out and be seen, right? It wants to be seen. It wants to be witnessed. And once we're able to see it and witness and honor it and understand it, then we're able to release it, transcend it, transform it. So there's all these things. I've seen so many identities, people, resistance, energies, experiences come up, even experiences from when we're children, things we've seen in our parents, traumatic experiences we've had in our childhood, or things that happen in school when we're kids. All of that comes up. It's swirling around in the subconscious. So it really, most of the time, it just wants to be seen. It wants to be witnessed, and it's just misunderstood, right? It has this old version of what it thinks you want inside, and the new version has to go in and say, actually, this is not what I want anymore. This is what I want, and I need you to get on my team so that I can reach my highest and greatest good. That's a small snippet. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that can be a hard question. Like, that's really putting you on the spot saying, hey, what's the first thing you do? I'm a client right now. And you offered three very, very actionable things, right? You have a two-step process that checks in on what they want. This is essential to find out, because what I'm learning is people do have different desires, and messaging online tends to speak to a desire that maybe that person had at one point or has. But some people do want to lose weight, and that's okay. Some people don't. Some people want to gain weight. Some people want to allow themselves to eat more sugar. Some people want to eat less sugar, and they're all valid. So I love that you have that process of checking in, and then also checking with the belief systems. And it sounds like you have like a extraordinary, really effective method to pull those apart and create transformation. I want to look at the other two things that you mentioned. So, because you said you have a process where you explain what's going on to them, you inform them on the facts, you let them know the data and all that. Like, I would really love to hear that. What are the data points? What is the proof? And what, because I'm in the majority that views hypnosis with skepticism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And an open skepticism, but that's what surrounds it, right?
Right.
But then I love meditation, and I know it works. And then I'm listening to your thing before this, and I'm like, this is very similar stuff, right?
Right. Totally.
So what's some of the data? What's some of your that you give to a new client to give them kind of that scientific proof?
Sure. So, there's the thing. It's like, what is hypnosis? What is meditation? What is guided meditation? What is self-hypnosis? What is, they're all the different things, but they're all basically the same thing, right? So like what you listen to, that's essentially a guided meditation, which one could also call a guided self-hypnosis. You know what I mean? It's the same concept, right? Because any meditation that's guided, what we're doing is we're essentially, we're getting into the theta state, and then we're visualizing, right? We're visualizing what we're desiring, and we're planting seeds in the subconscious. So that's the same thing as a guided meditation. So it's all schematics and language, right?
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, because how I would describe hypnosis is essentially when you're working in the theta state and we're accessing the subconscious mind and we're doing some change work. So that would be my definition of hypnosis, which is just some of the statistics I like to share is like traditional therapy, for example. You're going in, you're talking to a therapist, you're working in the conscious mind. Okay, mm-hmm. That's like our analytical brain. When all of the research and data shows that the subconscious mind is the most powerful thing that we can access, but it's very rarely utilized for the greater good. Yeah, it's actually 95% of our brain, like power, is in the subconscious mind, but typically we're operating in the conscious mind, 5%, and that's the analytical side. So you want to up the amount of time you spend working in the subconscious because this is all of our limiting beliefs live.
Exactly. And this is why people feel like I was thinking this morning, I feel like we're a something housed in a body. I got to give Jaya credit because she said that term mm-hmm. in a comment today, but housed in a body operating through a computer we don't understand, right? So
right.
This is why we feel like it's like, man, we know everything we could do to have this unbelievable life, and we are fighting against what feels like ourselves, but it's not. It's a part, but it is a part of ourselves. But you're talking about people see subconscious as woo-woo when 95%, that's your motor. And then we're working on it's like we're playing with gas, brake, steering, and we're and the motor is programmed to be at 10,000 RPM. And it's cut out, right? So, yeah. So I love that. And sorry to cut you off, but I love that because this is where decisions are made. So awesome. So you let them know
all of our memories live in the subconscious. All of our automated bodily functions live in the subconscious. So it's just so much going on. A lot of another thing I'll share is a lot of inventors, like self-hypnosis and hypnosis has gone back to ancient Egypt, right? So like Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein, you read their biographies, they will say that they used to self-hypnotize. Albert Einstein used to hold 2 metal balls in his hand, so if he fell asleep, the balls would fall in a pan, because he knew that when he was in that theta state, that's when he was able to come up with his most amazing inventions, right? A lot of people One, our creativity, our intuition is the most highly effective when we're in the theta state, when we're working in the subconscious mind. That's where a lot of people come up with their like problem solving, like it happens on another level as opposed to doing it in the conscious mind. So that's a big fact that I'll share with people, is just like the subconscious mind is so powerful. We just don't use it. We don't know how to utilize it and access it enough. And then traditional talk therapy, you go in, you're talking in conscious mind. You're not working in, like, I get like, I'm painfully, like when I watch people coach people and they're coaching in the conscious mind, I can't even watch it because I'm like, this would be a totally different session if they just would take a moment to relax the person into the theta state, and they could be working from that subconscious mind, that place of creativity, that place of power, that place of our intuition. So in talk, there's a hypnosis stat that we talk about. So anyway, I also work for a school. It's called Grace-Based Hypnotherapy School, and I was a teacher there. I actually just stopped teaching last month when we made some changes, but I still work for the company as a hypnotherapist. So I've been teaching about hypnotherapy for a couple years now. And one of the statistics that we use is that, and there's a study. I mean, the study is from the 70s, honestly. It's from Dr. Barrios, and we need more money to do more research on studies like this. But the study showed that out of these participants, they had 600 sessions, and they saw a 37% improvement with traditional therapy, where the other participants who had 6 sessions of hypnotherapy saw a 92% improvement. So I mean, like
Really?
the proof is in the pudding, right? Like, and the reason is because we're working in the subconscious mind. It's like a quicker, more efficient way to have results. So many people will tell you, I've gone to a therapist for years and they've seen very little results, and it's because we're working in the conscious mind. So that's a big one.
So you run your coaching sessions in beta state, all of them?
Yeah, theta, yeah.
So is that like that? I can see that starting with some kind of like settling exercise, like a meditation or hypnosis, 10 minutes. But how do you occupy the rest of the, if it's an hour session, without coming back into conscious mind as soon as you open dialogue, or are they never speaking?
No, they're speaking the entire time. It's
Yeah.
just, it's not like you're asleep. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's just that feeling like when you were listening to that meditation, right? If somebody was around you and said, hey, Jordan, something, you could have answered them, right? So it's like having a conversation with your eyes closed, we call it. It's, a person is completely engaged. They're just
Wow.
relaxed, they're just not in that analytical, like go like me, I'm so used to being in theta. I'm like in theta right now because I just meditated. I'm so used to, that's the other thing with this.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
I'm like going in and out of theta all day with my clients. So I'm a little high right now because we're talking. I'm so excited, but like I live my day in theta the majority of the day because like that's where it's awesome. It's powerful. I'm at peace. I feel so grounded and relaxed,
Yeah,
maybe
that
if
makes
I go to
perfect
the
sense.
post office and get annoyed or something, I would get a little out of it. But yeah, I mean, it's just about being in that, I would say, place of groundedness. And so my sessions, I start with a relaxation technique, and then we are pretty much in the theta state the whole time. So, but it's not like you're out of it. You're conscious, but you're working in the subconscious.
So that's brilliant. I love that. And I love that it making its way into your life. Like this is, there's all kinds of tools and methods and terms that if we can bring ourselves towards like a soothed life experience, that's what it's all about. And that's what you're speaking to. You're talking about like living, you're living in the game and the game's coming into your life. So that's great. And that shows the practice paying off. So just one
and
more
I'll say
question.
one more scientific thing I'll add is like,
Yeah.
when we have a reaction to something, like when we have a desire to binge eat, right? Like let's say you're in a relationship and something happened and you're triggered and now you want to go eat pizza, right? Maybe that happens sometimes, right? It's like you have developed a neural pathway in the brain, right? Or when you go to sleep at night, instead of thinking about sleep, you're thinking about all the things you should have done today or all the things you have to do tomorrow. That reaction is a neural pathway that you've developed in your brain. So there's a reason why when A happens, you have the B reaction. It's because of neural pathways in the brain. So what we're doing in hypnotherapy is we are creating new neural pathways, right? So when you go to bed, you start, I work with a lot of people that struggle with sleep. So they go to bed and they start their countdown and they do their color thing as the steps of self-hypnosis. And now they're creating and strengthening a new neural pathway in the brain. So the old neural pathway begins to disintegrate. And the new neural pathway is the new highway, the highway to your future self. That's the pathway we're going to strengthen. So now when you go to sleep, you have a new neural pathway that you're going down. When you have this trigger that happens in your relationship, you're no longer going to go for pizza. You're going to say, hey, I'm going to go meditate because I know it's going to make me feel really good. Or I'm going to go for a walk. Or I'm going to go hug my dog. Or I'm going to go, do whatever it is that fuels your soul. You develop a new reaction. And that's working with the brain, working with the neuroplasticity, which is very powerful.
Yeah, I love that. And that's why, like, I always say real change, true change sneaks up on you. Mm-hmm. And that's a good expression of it, because like you'll be doing this like heavy lifting and you're like doing these mental sit-ups and you're like affirmation, and I'm like, affirmation is bullshit, this isn't. And then you're like, you go into that, and it actually was hard for me because I would get triggered and I would be used to wanting that, and then the wanting came with a knowing that it would be soothing. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say that I'm without triggers now, but the change when I would get triggered and then I would look for the wanting and the wanting wasn't there, it was actually really hard. And I've had lots of cycles where I would go and I would still force the behavior. And it was really disappointing that like going and getting that haul of food, I was like, shit, it was sad. It was like a broken relationship dying. You're kind of like, damn, but like the sex was good. Like, why did I kill that kind of thing? And then you're like, shit, should I have given that up? Could I have kept it friendly? And then like, that was really part of my journey, because then I'd really like force the behavior because I knew it was like, I knew there was something there, and then actually would re-engage those neural pathways and end up in another cycle of having to get out of it. So I love that. You're talking about, yeah, I really love that. Change from the inside out. And the thing is that the stuff online, like people see the neural pathways. I see there's people really, really in pain who haven't done any work and are just discovering the problem and are really suffering. And they'll post, like, I'm in all kinds of groups, support groups. I'm on the brink of, I don't want to live anymore. And people are saying, you can rewire your brain. You can rewire your brain. And I know it's true. And I can feel there, like a year ago, I was like, fuck, don't say that, right? And it's real, and that's why, like, I appreciate you holding that light and doing the work yourself and experiencing it, and then it allows you to be able to say, no, it is real, and to show people. So I'm curious, just the third thing, because when I said, what would you do with a new client, you said I'd explain it. Having them be informed is empowering. I love that. You said you have a 2-part process where you discover what are their desires and limiting beliefs, in there. And then you said that you were like, there's a 5-step process I have them do every day, twice a day, 3 to 5 times a day. What's that? Is that the self-hypnosis?
Yeah, that's the step to self-hypnosis. What I sent you was a guided, specific self-hypnosis on binging. But the step to self-hypnosis is super easy. It would take me probably at least 20 minutes to teach it. We can maybe do another session on that if you want. I could post the steps, but it's basically a process that you just take 5 minutes a day. You start off by noting your beginning stress level on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. So right now, what would you say you are on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being the highest.
Right now, like a 3.
Okay, awesome. And then we do that at the beginning, at the end, because again, we want to prove to ourselves that these practices work. So you started at 3, hopefully you'll end at a 0, or even a 1. That's showing you're seeing change. That's going to make you want to do it every day because it works. So you always start off by noting your beginning and then ending stress level. And then it's just a process where you imagine a color you love coming in and just surrounding you and relaxing you. And then you you do what I like to call the head to toe body relaxation. So a really quick body scan where you relax your body. So I'll do it really quick with you because I love to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and close your eyes. Relax the top of your head. Relax your forehead, smoothing out any creases. Relax the tiny muscles next to your eyes. And relax your jaw, letting it hang loose and slack. And as you relax that jaw, you send a message to your entire body that it's okay to relax. Relax the muscles in your back. Relax your neck and your shoulders. Relax your arms all the way out through to the fingertips. If anybody's watching, you could join us. Feel this beautiful quality of relaxation flowing all the way down your torso, breathing out easily. Feel this relaxation flowing all the way down your legs, all the way through your feet into the core of the earth. And then imagine that color you love flowing in through the top of your head, all the way through your body, through those relaxed muscles and out through the bottoms of the feet. You can open your eyes. That was a little taste, it's like I don't remember how many steps it is now, 8 steps or something like that, but that's just part of it. You start with that mind body relaxation. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you now?
So I would say, yeah, 1 or 0. Like that felt like it's the weirdest thing. It felt like I ate a warm blanket.
I love that. Yes. Yum. I hope it was delicious.
Yeah, it was so tasty, like a ribeye flavored blanket. The thing is, I think we're like, I do it too. Like I've had periods where I'm consistent with my meditation, where I touch meditation. I find it easier in a guided room, like where the environment's contagious, or it's guided. I have a guided guy that I really, really like his stuff. But when you're out of it, you convince yourself that your body's like an unsafe place, right? And when I override that for a minute, and last night I did it twice watching a movie. I was really enjoying it, and paused the movie and closed my eyes, and I was like, your body is glowing right now. This feels really good. And it's not for everyone. The body's not a safe place for everyone, but cultivating that, it's worth doing. And I guess I have cultivated it to an extent, because I don't want to present it to everyone that your body's always feel safe, but it's a beautiful thing when you can kind of disarm that. I'll be terrified of sitting still. I'll think the anxiety is going to attack me, all of it, and then I do, especially when it's I liked your wording, your energy, to have that be delivered in an effective way and be really supportive is I have a session right after this, and I'm I really want to, I don't implement beta into my sessions. It's right
Theta,
into cognition.
theta.
Oh, it's theta.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. You got the lingo right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the beautiful part, because when you said a lot of people don't feel safe in their bodies, I just got so sad, so sad, right? Because in a lot of my meditations where I had the most powerful experiences, and this took a long time. And most recently, I'm on a little bit of a meditation high, because I just got back from Cancun, and I was at Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditation conference for 10 days. And I was like, whoa.
Oh, that was a meditation conference.
Yeah, it was amazing. He's incredible, one of the most amazing people in the whole world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there was
that's a high level training too. He's a I've heard of him, and I don't know what he's about. He's a hotshot.
Amazing. I'm still in awe. I can't even believe it happened. He's amazing. So I was there, and and this has happened to me before, but there was a moment where I remember just laying down and just feeling so completely at peace in my own body, and I just kept saying to myself, my body is a temple, my body is a temple, and I love my body. And it was the most powerful, peaceful feeling I can ever describe. I could cry right now just thinking about it, and it took me a long time to get to that point in my journey, trust me. But like, I just want to say that like everybody deserves to feel that. Everybody deserves to have that connection with your body, to love your body fully and completely, to trust yourself fully and completely, to have unconditional love for yourself, to know that you are worthy and deserving of everything you desire. And if you can't tell, I feel this is my life's passion. This is my life work, to help people feel that. And you know, I was able to experience that in this conference, and it's like that is the most empowering feeling in the world, and everybody deserves that, you know. And it is a journey. It doesn't come overnight, but it's a process. But you can get that. You can overcome all of the trauma, all of the old ways of thinking, the old version of yourself, and step into your new version and fall deeply, deeply in love with your body, and see that your body is a temple, and honor and respect your body, and use this body as the vessel that it is. So it is possible. It takes work, you know, but it is possible. But when you have that feeling, there is literally nothing more empowering in the world.
Yeah, I love that, and I love your passion behind it, and I totally agree. Yeah, and that feeling, that cocoon, warm space feeling. It is like a leaving the body feeling. It's like when you said you can cry feeling it. I have in a very supportive, like when you kind of have to. I mean, you don't have to, but it helps you go into like a really immersive experience like that. And you like that's a high level training. That was probably very expensive. You had to make a lot of like sacrifices to get there, and you make all the planning, the payment, all that to get there, to touch that, and then you know it's real, and then you're able to come back, and then in your life, in your teaching, it's real, so it's a light you can hold. I want to ask you about, because you're talking about, you know, this really falling in love with yourself and that, and I agree. And a lot of people online say you can't fall in love with yourself and want to change yourself at the same time. So I'm specifically talking about weight loss. I'm in a lot of, so I'm in the groups where it's like mutual support, and then I'm in more like clinician groups, and the clinical mindset, I think there's value there, but not for everyone. It's very, very hostile. I mean, I got mauled the other day, like 600-700 comments, because I said I support people. I try to make sure that we're doing it for the right reasons. It's about the how, the why, the inner. But absolutely, if you want to lose weight, I'll support that goal, and I'll do my best to manage, you know, its integrity with you and make sure it's sustainable. And they were like, you're dangerous, you can't, you know, weight loss as an outcome automatically means it's short term and it's going to fail, right? So I just want to hear your thoughts on weight loss as a goal, how to make it sustainable. Because the statistics are, at least this is what these people throw around, is if you have weight loss as the primary aim, and I try to take it away from primary, because if you just say I want to lose weight and after that I'll be confident, and I've had to embody this myself. Like I want to lose 40-50 pounds, to embody it now and as a practice, because it would be, you know, is why people win the lottery and they're sad, because it's not the outcome they think. But I welcome it as part of it. So yeah, the statistics say if your weight loss is your goal, you're gonna 98%, you're gonna be worse in 5 years. What do you say to people like that? And what's your thing on how to love yourself as you are while wanting to improve?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked this, because I literally designed my entire program based on this.
Sweet.
And I believe that if you are obese, based on the guidelines that are out there, you know, there are certain things that says your body should weigh this certain amount. And if you are not weighing that amount, you are hurting your body, you're hurting your health. I believe that is true. So I believe that if somebody, like, you know, I don't believe if you're below the line that your body should be at, you should be, you know, could be something going on there where like you have body dysmorphia or something like that. Like I want to support people where they're at. But the reality is there are many of us, especially in America, that are overweight, are significantly overweight, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 30 pounds more, right? That is not anybody living their best life. I don't care what you say. You are unhealthy. You are hurting your organs. Your organs can't function the way they want to. You're putting your health and your life time span on this earth at risk. There is no one that can argue that. And no one wants to feel that way, right? And the reality is when we're overweight, we do not feel like we have energy. We do not feel like our best self, right? Our body isn't functioning at our optimal level. So I believe, yes, people should have weight loss goals. Like, absolutely. I believe that is important and that is part of the process. However, I do not think that you should just be working on weight loss without doing the inner work. You have to do both in order to have sustainable change. Because, like you said, you can lose 40 pounds, and if you're still carrying around the same fear, the same anxiety, the same limiting beliefs, you're going to go right back to gaining those 40 pounds like that. So it has to be a process where it's a holistic plan, where you're working on the outer work, but you're also doing the inner work. That's how you get long-term sustainable results. That's how you change the inside and the outside together to become a better, and I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with you. We are all beautiful. I believe all human beings, no matter what their weight, no matter what their gender, their race, their socioeconomic status, every single beautiful, every person on this earth, beyond this earth, to me, is a beautiful divine soul. So I'm not saying if you're overweight, it doesn't mean you're not an amazing person. What I'm saying is, do you want to be the better version of yourself? Do you want to live the most amazing life you can possibly live on this earth? Yes, right? So step into that power now. Fuck that old way of being. Like, be better, want more, and you can do it. You can totally do anything you put your mind to, anything. I believe that with my whole heart. I believe in the world of infinite possibilities. It's about stepping up for your power, stepping up for the life that you want to call in.
Oh, I so like celebrate you and appreciate you for owning that, like such a badass, like, because we get different exposures. I don't know where you go for like the organic marketing and you're cultivating relationships, but like for me, it's a lot towards intuitive eating and eating disorder hashtags and groups. And the stuff that you just said, that's like, you'll be canceled for it, right?
Yeah.
In the world, yeah, in the world of body positivity, which I think you should have body, like, I'm always thinking that before I message on weight loss or goals or mindset, I think of people close to me who are vulnerable, who aren't happy with their weight, and who could be hurt by what I say, right? So I say it like, I like you, what you said the second half of it, like, I love you to death where you're at, and you have got to meet yourself where you're at, and then you can start to draw out something new. And so, yeah, I feel like it's always something that like it's a paradox that I'm always struggling with, and especially holding that light with these clinician people who do follow me or interact with me. It's been, and you know what, that's why the empowered eaters thing came, because I kept knowing what worked. I kept letting everybody tell me that there was things wrong with what worked, and I kept putting it down and doing what they said. I kept holding up donuts and memeing my recovery into like all food fits, and I'm like, is a donut a food? And I'm like, you know what I mean? And even like I'm in northern Canada. I just had surgery. It's 6 months lockdown. I know red meat makes me feel really good, and you search red meat and you'll be told that there's maggots growing in your brain because you're eating. So it's like really this process where, yeah. And you know what, like the internet, it just doesn't like gray areas. It doesn't like, it's either you can have it all, you can have none of it. So there's diet culture, which is like, you're worthless unless you count and restrict everything and have thigh gap and all this. And then there's the opposition of that, which is none of that works. Free reign. And I've been thinking of this kind of metaphor, like people are like end the food police. And I'm like, don't defund the food police. We need them. Anarchy isn't good, but re-educate them, reform the food police, right? You need an authority figure, or maybe a metaphor is like a guide dog. Maybe like food police isn't there, but maybe there's like a blindness we have that, this guide dog. So
and this is what we always say. We always say the people that are meant for you are going to find you. The people that want to come into my realm of thinking are going to come. Like, I don't even pay attention to that stuff because it's just, I'm like, whatever. Like, I know what I have to offer, and the people that are going to align what I have to offer and want to follow my philosophy and want results are going to find me. And I can't worry about what everybody else is saying. Like, in my program, I have women that have lost, and men that have lost 20 to 40 pounds in 43 days, okay, and have kept it off, and have completely up leveled and changed their whole lives. So I know it works. And what
Totally.
people want is results, right? And when you get on the scale every single day and you see that number go down every single day, you are motivated. You are going to keep going. You are going to be, wow, this actually works. I'm going to keep up with this plan. There is nothing more motivating than getting on the scale every single day and seeing the numbers go down. That's going to make you follow your food plan in the process. And it's, in my program, we do this whole process to fall in love with healthy foods and healthy eating, and it's sustainable and it lasts. So,
Yeah.
you can't please everybody, right? Like I can't have my program or my way of thinking and think everybody's going to identify it. I've been trolled, all the things, whatever. And I just
You
choose
have, yeah.
not to okay, you don't like this idea, my way of thinking, then go find something that you do. I can't be, everybody's cup of tea. But
Yeah.
I know that what I do, I believe in it, and I do it with intention and integrity. And so I'm just going to keep doing my thing. Right?
Yeah.
And I know that it works. I have so many clients, I've literally seen their entire lives change. And that's more motivating than anything in the world. Like that keeps me grounded. When I think of love, I think of my clients. And when I get a troll, I think of my clients that I've literally changed their entire lives. And I'm like, this works. That's all I know.
And that's totally, yeah, I love that. Think of your clients, think love. And my messaging is to it's always, like I said, before I post something, before I think of my clients, people close to me, and you think how that's who I'm talking to, that's who, and I love that you hold that message so so confidently, and that's how they can follow that light, right? So the last question I want to ask you, because I have a call I can't see my clock while I'm on.
Yeah, I think we got to go in 4 minutes.
Yeah, to be under an hour. Okay, so I just want to ask you, how would you tell someone, so they are experiencing that, like they're trying to get off of cake, and there's a lot of messaging online that says that's restricting, and they really feel like, I've got to a place where for the most part, most of the time I just don't want it, and I'm okay with that. And a lot of that is because I eat red meat and fatty food, and it supports me and my energy and my blood sugar. But you have someone who's like, I'm on the roller coaster, and I feel like every time I say no, it's coming from like a white knuckle place. What would you tell that person?
I would say Google how to make a keto cake and make a cake that's a healthy version of cake that you like and eat that. Like I have this recipe for avocado brownies and it's amazing. It's, there's no processed sugars in there. It's cacao, almond butter. I think there's maybe honey in there. I can't remember what the sugar is. Oh, coconut sugar. It has coconut sugar. And I make that. And when I want a chocolate or a cake or whatever, or there's an event, I make that and I have a serving of it, I am guilt-free. It's awesome. There is a healthier version of everything out there that you want. So if there's something, chocolate chip cookies, I love chocolate chip cookies. So I found a healthy recipe of chocolate chip cookies. It has coconut sugar, it has almond flour, so when I go have one of those cookies, I do it guilt-free. When I go get on the scale, it doesn't impact my weight because I'm eating, I'm not eating 20 of them. I'm having a normal serving and I'm eating healthy the rest of the day, and I'm, working out, doing whatever I do. So you can have whatever you want. Just have a healthy version of it. Just don't have the version that, McDonald's makes, or the version that you go pick up at 7-Eleven that costs them $2 to make because they put a bunch of white flour and processed sugar in there and chemicals, and then you're putting that in your body. Your body's a temple. Would you put a racehorse? Would you feed a racehorse, something from McDonald's? Absolutely not. So why would you put in some crap sugary cake from wherever in your body? That is poison. That is chemicals. That is poison. You do not need it. So make something that's natural, that's healthy, that's in the version of that what you desire, and eat it guilt-free.
Yeah, I love that because it's cool. We're not in the point anymore where to eat healthy you have to eat tree bark. It's like there's just unbelievable options.
Yeah.
And
oh my God, I have this amazing zucchini chocolate cake recipe. You take literally 2 full zucchinis, you shred them, you take cacao powder and almond butter and some coconut sugar, a couple other things, I don't remember. It is so good. I would rather eat that any day. It's delicious. It's amazing, So you don't have to be deprived. You do not have to be deprived. You can't say, I'm never going to have dessert, I'm never going to have sugar. Just don't have processed sugar. Don't have sugar that's made of chemicals.
and don't have a food that has an army of the most highly skilled people behind it, where that food is literally engineered with millions or billions. There's billions behind a Dorito, billions, and around the color of the bag, everything is engineered to manipulate you,
Yeah.
and to manipulate that 95% part of your brain that you don't have any control over.
Yes.
So I don't know if at an hour it cuts us off. I haven't had this before, but I want to close with, so if you watch this, if you're watching this live or you watch this replay, if you want, because Tiff sent me this recording, this hypnosis recording that was killer. If you want her to send that to you, put in the comments, hashtag hypnotize me. And if you want her avocado zucchini recipes, hashtag recipe, and then Tiff will shoot you a DM. She'll get those in your hands. It's very helpful. You know what? Like, me and Tiff do very similar things in a little bit different ways. And this is what it's all about, is us. I'm not going to take someone who's like, could be competition off my platform. We have got to, like, and I want to say this at the end, because this group is about proliferating options, proliferating information, putting it out there. I want to do 2 of these a week. I want to educate, empower. I want to bring in people I disagree with. I want to explore people's opinions. So I knew before this you had a lot to offer, and then like this conversation was amazing. So put those hashtags if you want those items. Is it okay if people send you a private message, add you as a friend request?
Yeah, totally. Feel free to friend me, send me a message, comment below. I'll follow up with you. And I want to say thank you so much, Jordan. Like, I really, really appreciate you having that spirit of collaboration. You know, we are similar, but we're different. So the people that want to work with you are going to work with you, and people that work with me. So I love that you have that mindset, that collaborative spirit. It's just so beautiful to know that there is so much opportunity out there for everybody. But when we come together and work together, that's when we can really create change together. Like, I so believe in the power of collaboration and supporting each other and being like just open. So I want to thank you so much for bringing me on here and being so open about it. I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I so feel that you're very heart-centered, and this is very important to you, to like that you're on fire about your work. So thank you for that. I'm definitely going to have you on again. We'll keep in touch. I'm so curious about what you do, your program. I'm learning so much from you. I was thinking as you were taking me through that, like, I was trying not to think, but I was like, oh my God, we should do one where you like do a session with me. Where you take me into beta state, you explore ideas. And I was like, I'm going to just get super comfortable and just have the camera there and watch you at work. And then I was like, I get a free session out of it. But
let's do it. I'm game. And I feel like doing hypnosis live, if you want, it could be really powerful, as long as the person is cool with it. So
yeah, I do too. And I feel like what better, and if you were like, people, if you're watching, you can join. Like, that's something like, I could have that a weekly or a monthly session where you come in and you do like a guided session. And this is like, I taught yoga for 5 years, taught meditation. I was thinking this morning, I was like, you should set up like a weekly or a monthly guided meditation. It was actually when I was listening to yours, Zoom or meditation. So we could have you in doing those. I want to say also, if anybody wants to, because I wouldn't say that could only be for me. If you wanted to come on and be like an example, and you wanted to get a free session with Tiff and do it live in the group here, it would benefit us because we could watch, and it would benefit you because you get a free session from someone who's on offer. Then put in the comments hashtag.
I would say maybe we would do that once, but I wouldn't recommend it as a regular thing, just because people aren't always able to really go deep and like have the full experience when there's like cameras or things watching. You know, it really should be private, because then things that you may want to come up won't come up, because, you know what I mean? Like, there's people around. So, and a lot of times the work is very private, and you're very vulnerable. And so I would tread lightly with that one, because I wouldn't want to put anybody's subconscious in that state, because you never know what's going to happen, and then you're all of a sudden you're like, wait, there's all these people on Facebook watching, you know.
Okay, so I like that.
Yeah.
And that's your expertise speaking. So what I'm going to say instead is
we could do the steps to self-hypnosis live.
Sweet. So we can do that. We can say, hey, Tiff's going to run through the steps. I'm open to a session. I'm just going to say that. So if it did come up. So if you want to do that, we won't do it regularly. We're going to do it once. I'm willing. If you're willing, put in the comments, expose me if you want to do that. Because you're signing up to be exposed, right? So
yeah, we'll think about it. We'll try you first, see how it goes, and then
we'll try me first. Okay.
We'll start a wait list.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
Thank you all so much. Oh my God, this is so fun, Jordan. You are awesome. I'm so happy you're here doing this work and being the leader that you are in this. And thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a great day in the theta state.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay.